Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. I do have one quick favor before we get to the video that you came here for, and that is very simply this. You see that little red subscribe button below this video? Go ahead, smash that subscribe button. It really does help me. It really does help this channel grow and my audience grow. So go ahead and hit that red subscribe button. And now, here is the video that you came here for. But let's focus on the ones that have been filled over the last 4, 5, 6 days. And I would argue the single biggest one is the Florida Gators. Florida, for years under Mike White, was not very good. Florida, I think they got kind of a get-out-of-jail-free card. Mike White snuck out the side door. It goes to Georgia. And on Friday, Florida hired San Francisco head coach Todd Golden. And so we have a lot of Gators fans who listen to this show, a couple that follow us on YouTube. And so it felt appropriate to hit this one and really take a deep dive. And let me just say this, Gators fans. I love you. I love your enthusiasm for basketball. I was the guy that pushed harder than anybody that Mike White wasn't the answer. But I'll just say this. I get why the Todd Golden hire was made, but I'll also be honest. I don't really like that one very much. And so let's get into it. Let's explain why. And I'm sorry to ruin your Monday morning here, Gators fans. But the bottom line is a couple things. So first of all, who is Todd Golden, right? So Todd Golden, as I just said, the head coach of San Francisco, the San Francisco Dons, they just made basically their first NCAA tournament in like 25 plus years. And to their credit, they made it as an at-large team. They come from the WCC, the same conference as Gonzaga. I will give Todd Golden credit. It is really, really, really hard to put together an at-large caliber resume in that league, especially if you don't have wins over Gonzaga, which San Francisco did not have. So credit to him. First round NCAA tournament, lose to Murray State, but it was by far the best season the program has had in a very long time. Make the NCAA tournament as an at-large. And really, this is the third year for Todd Golden, and really the program is very much on the rise. Now, in terms of what makes him different, what makes him special, what appealed to Florida, he is very much known as an analytics guy. Okay, so, the analytics stuff is sweeping sports. We saw it in the NFL with Brandon Staley going for it and, on his own 10-yard line or whatever. It's obviously coming to college football and the NFL and Major League Baseball, NBA, all that stuff. And so Todd Golden has really taken it to another level at San Francisco, and in many ways that led to their success. They play a certain way. He makes decisions that other head coaches wouldn't make. I think it helped with their scheduling. They were very smart in how they scheduled the types of teams that they scheduled to put themselves in position to get in that large bid. So that is why Florida likes Todd Golden. If you read kind of the commentary from Scott Strickland, the AD, the press releases, the comments, new age, young, creative, unique thinker. That is the sell to Florida fans on Todd Golden. I do have some problems with that sell, though, so let's get into those. And first of all, what I would say is this. This is not a discredit to Todd Golden. 36 years old, has shot up the coaching ranks, okay? At the same time, while he gets all this credit for all this crazy new age analytics, all that good stuff, he wasn't the one that originally started it at San Francisco. He came to San Francisco as an assistant. He was actually at Auburn for a year or two, comes to San Francisco, and when he gets to San Francisco, there's another guy there by the name of Kyle Smith. Kyle Smith gets to San Francisco. This is back in the 2016-2017 season. He sees Gonzaga, he sees St. Mary's, and says, we got to do this a different way. And so he brings that analytics mindset to San Francisco, and Kyle Smith, in his own regard, had 3 very good years at San Francisco. 20-13, 22-17, 21-10, 3 straight 20-win seasons for Kyle Smith, and then he bounces out to Washington State, where he has been the last 3 years. They finished 20-14 this year and 5th in the Pac-12. So the idea, first of all, the thing with Todd Golden, he inherited an already good situation. To his credit, he did elevate it, but at the same time, we can't sit here and say that at 36 years old, he completely built this program from the ground up. No. He took a good program. He took a program that had already been built, and to his credit, again, took it to another level. But the guy, Kyle Smith, who's now at Washington State, really does get a lot of credit for the success that San Francisco has. A lot of the players that were on this year's team, a much older group, Jamari Bouye, who we talked about a lot on this show over the last couple weeks heading into the NCAA tournament, Khalil Shabazz, all these guys, some of them came from the previous coaching staff, and Todd Golden inherited them. And it's not like even prior to this year, Todd Golden was lighting the world on fire. Now, last year was a COVID year, give him a little bit of a pass. The year before, 22-12. So very good at San Francisco. This year they were exceptionally good, made an NCAA tournament. But I'm just not sold that this is some new age, he's so far ahead of everyone else. And really, that is where the issue comes in for me, right? In terms of the analytics stuff, listen, to be clear, I am not anti-analytics. Let's just put that out there. I am not anti-analytics, okay? I'm not anti-analytics. I think they have value. I think they're important in evaluating the grand scheme of everything. But at the end of the day, let's never forget that analytics at its most surface level, analytics are designed to give you they're designed to give you any little tiny advantage that you possibly can, right? So like going back to the original analytics, which is Moneyball, there was a market inefficiency with guys who can get on base via walk. You get on base via walk, you take a lot of pitches, you wear down the other pitcher, you get into the bullpen earlier, on and on and on. I'm not going to bore you with analytics talk, but analytics are never designed to just build a team into a power. They are designed to give you incremental edges throughout the game. And here's the problem with that mindset going into the SEC. It is, in fact, the SEC. And so with due respect to Todd Golden and all his spreadsheets and all his pie charts and all his analytics, you know what's more important than analytics? Having really, really, really good players. And so when I look at what he did in San Francisco, it is very impressive. It's not to say that it cannot work at Florida. But let's also look at some of the big games that he had this year. He played Gonzaga 3 times this season, and you can love Gonzaga, you can hate them, they're overrated, they're this, they're that, they're whatever. The bottom line is he went 0 for 3 against Gonzaga. So how much did the analytics really help when the best team he played all year, he went 0 3 against them? And it's not to say that he should beat Gonzaga, but the point remains, how many other guys that went 0 3 against their best team in their league got jobs this year? And so the idea that these analytics are going to come to the SEC and we're going to take over and we're going to do things different, I'm going to take the team with players, okay? I'm going to take the teams that are well coached, it goes back to what I've said at the most fundamental level about the SEC. The SEC has a bunch of guys as head coaches who check all the boxes, okay? I know it's easy to crush John Calipari on a day like today, but John Calipari recruits his butt off. His teams are generally, certainly not last Thursday against St. Peter's, but generally well prepared, ready to go in big games. They did, to their credit, beat North Carolina, beat Tennessee, beat Kansas this year. He checks a lot of boxes. Eric Musselman certainly checks a lot of boxes at Arkansas, where the Hogs are going to the Sweet 16 for the second straight year. Oh, by the way, they have 2 McDonald's All-Americans coming in next year and the number 2 recruiting class in the country. Number 3 recruiting class in the country, it's Alabama and Nate Oates. You can say it didn't work this year, wasn't the right chemistry, it was whatever. Nate Oates is going to have players as long as he is at Alabama. Same with Bruce Pearl at Auburn. Same with, Rick Barnes at Tennessee. And so when I look at this hire from Todd Golden, I get that it's cool and it's new age and he's young and he's got all the spreadsheets. Well, those dudes got players. And you know what else? It's not as though those guys don't have access to analytics as well. I'm not claiming I have all the answers, but I've talked to Eric Musselman enough to know that dude does value the numbers and that dude does crunch the numbers, and that is a big part of what he does. And so Eric Musselman already has all the analytics, and he's also got really good players, and he's also got tournament experience, and he's also got head coaching experience. I don't think he's going to be afraid of some 36-year-old with a spreadsheet, okay? Same with Bruce Pearl. Same with John Calipari. Same with Nate Oates. Same with Rick Barnes. I don't think they're going to be afraid of this kid who has never coached at any level. And so this is not never coached at the high major level. And so this is not a disrespect to him. It's not saying that it can't work, okay? What I will say is I do think his team will be better prepared than Mike White's were. Mike White, obviously, my criticism always was never the win-loss record in totality. It was never the NCAA tournament appearances in totality. It was that there were just nights where they came out and they weren't ready to play. They lost to Texas Southern at home this year. They lost to Ole Miss, one of the worst teams in the SEC this year. They just came out unprepared. I do think Todd Golden's teams will come in prepared. My question is he going to be the coach that recruits well enough, that checks enough of those other boxes to get Florida back to the top of the SEC? Mike White was forced out not because he was terrible, but because he was inconsistent. I do believe that Todd Golden will at least bring a little bit more consistency to the program. I guess I just doubt that in a league with Bruce Pearl, in a league with Rick Barnes, in a league with Eric Musselman, in a league with John Calipari, as much as we criticize him, I'm sorry, 36-year-old spreadsheet, I got my doubts, okay? I got my freaking doubts.